I am currently at the DeGraff City Hall building. I'm not allowed to go in there because they said they will prosecute me if I do, which is a wild assertion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this tripod so that it visibly sees me, and we'll see how that goes, you know. On the way here, that's kinda sucks. I'm going to put the tripod right here. You can see there's nobody here. The tripod is not blocking anything at all. Grab my other phone out. There are no citizens here. None. Look at that accountability. Accountability where? There is none. No accountability. Citizens in there checking out the meeting? None. No accountability. And that is the government we have here in DeGraff, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Do they want you in there? No. No, they do not want you in there. Yep. Hello there, sir. Looking at me. How's it going? You want to acknowledge me? You want to acknowledge me? Right through the window. The secret meetings continue. Secret meetings continue. I guess I got the fiscal officer's name wrong because guess what? They haven't updated the website. So for that, I'm sorry. What was her name again? Let me double check because my sign is wrong on that. It is Stephanie Knight. You got Gabe Kern. You got Stephanie Osmond. Look at them go. Does it matter? No, they don't care. Yeah, they don't care. They want the meeting to be closed to the public. Here's Rick putting the sign on right here. Here's what it is. Look at them go in their secret meeting. Do not want it here. I'm going to turn this away from the door so it can see me directly, so nobody can say that I did or something or said something that I didn't do or say. So that's where we're at. I'm going to stay here. See what's going on. secret meetings of DeGraff. We gotta do something to stop the corruption. You see that building down there? It says garage, eventually right there. That was supposed to be a restaurant up there now. We didn't open up that restaurant because of the city, because of the village of DeGraff. That's why they didn't open the restaurant. They were going to open it. I talked to them before the election. We're not opening that restaurant because the city of DeGraff. That's what our current administration's doing for us. You see those storage units down there? There's people working on repairing a house down there. It was a nice old house, had some very nice windows to it. Very old. I won't say they were energy efficient, but it was nice. And what happened down there? Village of DeGraff happened. So they poured in time and money trying to repair it. They did months worth of work. And what happened? Village of DeGraff happened. If you ain't one of the inner core people there, then you're an outsider. They don't care. They don't want your business. That's what they do here. Will they call the sheriff? Who knows? Did they last time? Yeah. They probably will. I don't want them to. I want them to respect my right to protest. They're already disrespecting my right to freedom of press to report in the meeting. Public Open Meeting, Ohio Meetings Act. Do not restrict. No blanket restrictions on recording. No prior restraint. You're not allowed to force people to ask for permission to exercise their rights. But why am I outside? Well, Zebulon sent me a notice saying I had to remain outside or they'd prosecute me. Yep. Why would he do that? Well, you can only guess, right? You don't have to guess. I got the conversation recorded. They think they're immune from public scrutiny. They think that home rule allows them to pass any law without any regard as to its effect on the people. Your right to referendum, gone. They don't want you to have it. They're happy in there. They enjoy it. Right now, I feel like they're winning. They got one over them. They successfully that's what they did. They keep going. Yep. Nodding back and forth, pretending like they're cool, everything's fine. It's not fine. Everything is not fine, ladies and gentlemen. Village of DeGraff doesn't believe you have rights. They don't believe that there's a constitution. They don't believe that the Constitution is above them. They think that they can pass ordinances in clear and direct violation of both the Constitution and the Ohio Constitution and Ohio Revised Code. They believe that that is within their authority. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is not within their authority. We gotta let them know. We gotta let these people know they don't have that authority. There are no citizens in this public meeting right now. What do you call a public meeting without citizens? That's right, private secret legislation. That's what you call it. It's private. No residents in there. That's what we do here in DeGraff. We hold private meetings. Keep the press out. We don't care about the Constitution. We don't care about the Open Meetings Act. The only people going to be going in here today, people, is the council, the mayor, and city workers. No citizens. None. Why is that? They don't want them in there. That's right. Oversight? None. They're happy. Happy little campers. They're violating our rights. They're trampling them. Not just mine. Everybody here. Everybody here has what's called a right to referendum. That means when they try to pass an ordinance and you don't agree with it, you're supposed to get 30 days to gather signatures to be able to fight that ordinance and make them have to put it on the ballot and answer to the people. Out of the last 54 ordinances that they have posted online, how many of those do you reckon they did by emergency ordinance, stripping away your rights to referendum? The answer is 54. But do they have the most recent ordinances listed on the website? They do not. What do they have instead? October 7th of last year. It's June. It's June. The last ordinance they posted online, the last one they didn't keep a secret, October 7th, 25. When I came in and asked for the ordinances, what did they do? They said, we don't have them available. You can't see them. Those aren't available. We'll send that through our solicitor. That's what we'll do. Are they supposed to send it through the solicitor? Absolutely not. They're supposed to be available for public review immediately, and they are not. Why is that? Why are they holding secret meetings? Why do they not want the press to be a part of it? I ran for mayor. I won 40.9% of the vote. That's pretty close. I said I would come in and start recording meetings. I tried to keep that promise. I came in and I recorded. They threw a fit the first meeting I recorded. They told me I couldn't do it. They told me that I didn't have the constitutional right to do it. The very next meeting I was at work and I couldn't attend. So what did they do? They passed an emergency ordinance to restrict video recording, to restrict the press because they don't want them in there. Hello.
Oh,
How are you doing?
okay.
Take a look if you want. They're restricting the rights of the press. They passed an ordinance to specifically restrict the press from being able to come in and record the meeting. They'd rather have everything in secret. The Ohio Open Meetings Act, the Ohio Constitution, and the United States Constitution all say that I'm allowed to be in there recording to be able to post it for people. I'll put it on a YouTube channel, unedited, full meetings. People that weren't able to get in and see it. They wrote an ordinance. They wrote an ordinance that basically you have to ask for permission for recording. Your constitutional rights that you already have right now. They're saying, no, you don't have those. You got to get our permission first.
Well, I'm not sure about the recording, but
It's ordinance 2024-21. DeGraff.
not as far as your legal right to record.
Oh, yeah, the right of the press. Yeah, it's freedom of the press. Yeah, you absolutely have the right to.
Yeah, I know
record
open-
press. An open meeting has to be open, and the Open Meetings Act said they can pass. They can put limitations on it as far as they call them time, manner, place restrictions, and the Secretary of State listed specific things they're allowed to do, and in those specific things, they're allowed to say, you can't go around putting your camera in people's faces. If you're getting up causing a disturbance, they can kick you out. That's reasonable. They said that they can say, you're not allowed to have noisy photography equipment. If your equipment is flashing and clicking all the time, that's a disruption. They're allowed to restrict that. But they're not allowed to put a blanket restriction on the ability to record or to make you ask for permission to do that. It's called prior restraint in some constitution. I've got some examples of some of the laws and ordinances that go with it. It's not just me saying it, it's the law. And their solicitor helps them write these ordinances. They pass ordinances as emergencies. The people have what's called a right to referendum. If you don't know what that is, you got the right to go and gather signatures. If say they're trying to pass an ordinance that you don't agree with, you can go and gather signatures. It's a percentage of however many people voted in the last race, the mayor race here. And if you get enough signatures, what it does is it forces that onto the ballot so that the people get a vote for it. Out of the last 54 that they have posted on the website, you know how many were emergency ordinances where it strips that right away? All 54. Every one. And they do not have any ordinances listed on the website past October 7th of last year. They don't have any meeting minutes listed past October 7th of last year. And when I came in a week ago to ask to do these, which have to, they're statutorily required, that's also on here. They're statutorily required to have those available for public inspection. They're allowed to take up to the time of the next meeting to get the minutes approved, but even the unapproved minutes are public record. You're supposed to be able to come up and request that and inspect it right now and take pictures of it. They don't have anything past October 7th. So every meeting, all the minutes, all the ordinances they've passed since then, might as well be a secret. And most of the times I've come down to record, there's been nobody here, no citizens.
John
Miller. Yeah. And I got the DeGraff dispatch on YouTube is where I post the videos. And last week, the sheriff went in to record. The prosecutor, they called the prosecutor. The prosecutor said, we're not going to prosecute that for now. And then, 8 days later, they sent 2 sheriff's deputies to my home to tell me that they were going to prosecute it in the future. And Zebulon Wagner in there sent me a letter denying most of my records requests, which he's not allowed to do, and stating that if I go in there, they will prosecute me for it.
What's your phone number? Well, thank you for your efforts.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. And there you have it. There was actually 2 citizens at this meeting. There was none at the last meeting. They're going in there. They did decide to listen to what I had to say. And it is relevant. Some people, most people, don't stand up for your constitutional rights. They just don't. And that's not me. I can't sit down and let it happen. I can't do it. I don't have it in me. Am I putting my freedom at stake? Yeah. Yeah. Do I know what's going to happen? Not at all. Do I know they like to have secret meetings? They wish nobody showed up? I imagine that's the truth. Surely my opinion about it. Go ahead. I'm wearing a ridiculous box right now. I'm trying to prove the point. Prove the point that the government can't trample our rights. They're happy about it.
What's he doing?
Protesting the village.
Yeah.
Because the village decided to pass an unconstitutional ordinance to keep the press out of the meetings. They want you to ask for permission to record an open to the public meeting.
Well, it is illegal. So,
Illegal what?
isn't it illegal to not allow
It is.
freedom
It
of speech
is
is
illegal.
against the Constitution?
It is.
Yes.
I got all the relevant information here.
Yeah.
It is illegal. I also ran for mayor. And last week I was here for the meeting, or 2 weeks ago rather, and they called the sheriff on me. When they called the sheriff, the prosecutor said they wasn't going to prosecute. They told them to let me back in there, but then 8 days later they sent 2 sheriff's deputies to my house to tell me that in the future they will prosecute over it.
I mean, they could try.
Well, on the local level, It's a pretty big gamble.
Yeah.
With the municipal court, it's a pretty big gamble. And then you gotta appeal it. They make that cost prohibitive. If you don't have a good enough amount of money, it's really hard to make the government answer for what they're doing.
That's true. I'm seeing it. Well, keep on the good fight, man.
Thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful day.
You too.
I'm sorry about that. I guess I should point the camera towards people when I'm talking to them about things. But I did not do that. Old Zebulon's in here. This is the first time I've seen Zebulon Wagner in a meeting where he wasn't wearing shorts and flip-flops. It's the first time he looked like he was taking the job of solicitor serious. Is he really? No. No, he's not. Because he's violating our rights. Continuously. I've got that camera sitting right there. It's recording me. So there's my, as that camera can see, I've got a GoPro right here. I've got this camera right here on the phone here. The one on the phone I'm probably going to record on and off minimally because I'm kind of running out of space. That one's got plenty of space. This one has plenty of space. And yeah, so if one of the videos is missing stuff, just know that one is set to record constant. I do got to check the battery level. I may have to put my battery pack on it. It is still recording right now. Battery is at 94%. What are they doing right now? Having a meeting without the press. You're right, recording means nothing. Nothing. They're pretty happy. Look at the smiles, ladies and gentlemen. Compare that to the video, to the aggression, to the anger. Now look at the smiles. It makes so much of a difference. So happy to violate the rights of the citizens. Very happy. I've never seen the mayor smile so much as she is right now. The Constitution doesn't really matter to them. Also, I'm sorry, I'm moving around a bit, but wearing a box feels a little odd. It's 2 meetings today that I've missed. 2 meetings. Can't be in there because I'm on recording. Could I beg the village for permission? For rights I already have? The real question is, should I? Should I beg the village for permission for rights I already have? Is this just a move against the press? Come on now. No, it's not. It is, but not just against the press. It's also against the former mayor candidate in a close competition, trying to uphold a campaign promise for accountability that's obviously needed. When the government is trying to hide from accountability, that's when accountability is needed the most. Very happy. You probably can't see the joy through the reflection on the window, but I can see it from a distance away. There they are. Readily violating the rights of the people. Hear that laughter, that joy? Look at the smiles. You know who's not smiling? I'm not smiling. Really. It's an affront to the Constitution and the people of the land. They don't care about that. Look at this lock falling apart on the city building. I told them about that 2 weeks ago. See it? It's falling apart. They don't care. Put all my hands up for a minute, so I turn the one phone camera off. Look at the box. The camera's not angled too high there. I probably should have checked that earlier, but I'm going to check it now. do they pass almost every single ordinance as an emergency? And why are 7 months worth of minutes and ordinances not available to the public? Why? I mean, I keep asking myself that, but I don't have the answer. It is required. The real question is, should the public have to fight for these rights? Another thing is you're not allowed to have signs here 2 feet by 2 feet. No, right. In your own yard. But what do we have there? Fire department sign. Much larger.
Don't let you
No, not with a camera. You can't go in with a camera.
in. That's ridiculous.
No,
What's the reasoning?
because of their ordinance. Their unconstitutional ordinance.
Oh, you can't be eating my ice cream?
Yeah, it's all right. I'm more showing the front of the box here so you can see the messages on the box. I got that recorded too over there. That way, just in case they call the sheriff and try to say what I did or didn't do, there's an angle there, there's an angle here, and if they show up, I'll be recording on this one too.
I agree with this.
Yep. They're facts.
Wagner was the attorney that I had fighting Cassie. You know,
All over it.
all his fighting meetings recorded, they won't let him because they have an unconstitutional ordinance saying we're not allowed to record it. So
You gotta ask for permission first. You gotta grant your permission 24 hours in advance. You gotta explain your reasoning for wanting to record. A lot of people don't realize that the freedom of the press belongs to everybody, not just MSN or Fox.
and it's public.
Yeah. It's not as public as it would be if they allowed the press in. And then, I came down a couple days ago, and I asked to see the ordinances. They don't have posted online. They're posted on the ordinances. Last time they posted an ordinance or meeting minutes for the public was October 7th, 25. So they've gone 7 months essentially in secret. What are the ordinances? Are you violating an ordinance? How would you know? I came in and asked to see them. No, we'll have to send that through our solicitor. They're statutorily obligated to have that available for public inspection promptly. And that means right then. They're supposed to keep them in a folder. They're supposed, you asked to see it, they're supposed to bring it out and let you see it right then.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is the council meeting?
Yeah, this is a council meeting right now. You're allowed to go in as long as you don't have a camera rolling.
That's crazy.
And old Zebulon sent me a response to my public records request, calling them unreasonable. Part of that's on here. That's a direct quote from him. I recorded the call.
What do you say?
Said that my requests were unreasonable. He also said that he doesn't know if DeGraff is violating the law by not having any of the ordinances up for the last half a year, which they clearly are.
Wagner's a shitty fucking attorney. That's who I had when I was fighting Cassie in court. I paid him $6,500. He didn't do shit. He tried to charge me another $6,500.
Well, I don't think
he took
knows
me to
the
court.
law.
He took me to small claims court, but paid me the other $6,500. Well, they ruled in his favor, so I started paying him. And I ended up getting a refund check right because I was overpaid. But like completely incompetent, I fired him. Big ass screaming match in the middle of the court. Told him that if I was as incompetent at my job as he was as his, I wouldn't fucking have one. And I walked back in, and the judge looked at me and asked me if everything was okay. I said, "Man, my attorney's not doing his fucking job." I said, just like that.
It's not just regular incompetence, it's willful incompetence. Because there's no way that you pass the bar and you don't know the Constitution. There's no way that you served as president of a city council and as a solicitor for multiple villages and you don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was the president of Mountain Council.
Right, but he claims that he doesn't know how it works. In the audio call I got recorded, he doesn't know how things work. I'll have to look into that. I don't know how that works. The basic things that are statutory requirements. That place has been pretty busy recently. They sold it.
Yeah.
That was going to be a restaurant right there. That building there.
Yeah.
They was going to open up a restaurant there. And I talked to the lady before I ran for mayor when I was running. And she said that the village was giving her too much trouble. She applied for the liquor license and got the liquor license. I was on the ballot. She got it. But she said the village was giving her too much trouble, making it too hard to open a business. And that if Stephanie won, she wasn't going to open it.
It used to be a restaurant.
Yeah, well, they was going to open another one there. Now Tonight Pizza has to because once Stephanie won, she said she wasn't going to open the restaurant. She was selling the liquor license. She sold the liquor license to them. That was really a lot of things. I think the council's blind to the law. Like, they're following the lead of Zebulon and Stephanie, and they're blindly following it, and they believe that they're right on what they're doing, so they're just doing it. When they pass emergency ordinances, they're supposed to put specifically what the emergency is and why you had to pass that to protect the health and safety of the people. There's supposed to be a particular clause in every ordinance that passes an emergency that states that. Theirs just states the legal text in the law saying that there's for the public health and safety. No specifics. They've got an ordinance they passed in January of last year to give somebody a pay raise in December of the previous year. And it's illegal to give a government employee a pay raise for work they've already done. They passed that as an emergency. It was such an emergency to give that person a raise that they did it the following year, made it retroactive, and it was an emergency. It's hardly an emergency.
You're a fire family.
54 of the last 54 online were passed as an emergency. All 54. So everything in DeGraff is an emergency. When I was in here a couple of days ago, Stephanie Knight, the fiscal officer, said we do that to make things go faster. Well, the Supreme Court said you can't use that to make things go faster. There has to be a genuine emergency, and the health and safety of the public have to be at risk to do that. They say, well, home rule lets us pass whatever we want. Home rule states that you can't pass any law that abridges the Constitution or the Ohio Revised Code. The law they passed restricting recording does both. They're pretty happy in their day. It's the most I've seen Stephanie smile.
Yeah?
Yeah. They really like it.
You must pass another ordinance.
Yeah, they don't want to tell you. Don't worry, it won't be on the books. The law also says that any ordinance that isn't published can't go into effect until at least 10 days after it is. So all the raises they've given themselves, everything else that they've passed, technically those are void until they're made public. I told Zebulon that. Oh, I think we have a difference of opinion. I think you know what an opinion is. Because the law is not an opinion. He's not a very bright person.
At least they're not arresting you tonight.
If I went in there, they would. Well, it looks like I'm video recording the meeting. Any audio there? No. Can't hear it through the wall, through the door. It's harder to hold somebody accountable for what they say when it's their word versus yours. When they get to change the realities. In a world where people believe they have their own truth, as though there's not a universal truth. Either something is true or something is not true. Either they're violating the law or they're not violating the law. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They are in fact violating the law right now. That's exactly what they're doing. Yep. Accountable to the people? No. No. They're accountable only to themselves when the public can't review what's really going on. It's exactly what's happening. I'm going to stand back a little bit so they can see my signs. As you noticed, I am not obstructed a single person walking down the sidewalk. I only stood out on the sidewalk and talked to them when they wanted to talk to me. About preparing a speech to say out here. I think it's better to just speak from the heart. We need to get rid of these people. They're here to hold us down. And a buddy system or the buddies keep everybody out. When I ran for mayor, after living here for nearly 10 years, they said, no, he's an outsider. He's going to take your guns. I'm a constitutionalist. They're the ones stripping people of their rights. In secret. That's exactly what they're doing. Why would they do that? You tell me. Look at the smiles. Man. Wish you guys could see all the smiles just there on this glass. Now, I've held it up there a couple times. Got to make sure they get paid. What do they get paid for? Violate our rights. They get paid to oppress the people. That's what they're doing. Oh, yeah, when they go into executive session, the right to record doesn't exist there also. Like, I mean, that's obvious. When the sheriff came last time, the first thing he asked was, are you in executive session? And they weren't. I think the sheriff knew the law right then. He knew that unless they're in executive session, you have the right to be in there recorded, especially if you're doing it to upload for people to see.
But I gotta ask though, from practical matter, why would you want to record?
Because in the meetings that I've come down to, well, a couple of reasons. One, I believe in government accountability.
Yeah.
When you record the meeting, nobody can say it was different than what happened. Nobody can say they said or did something different. You've got it. It's recorded. It's undisputable. And any of the videos I've uploaded on YouTube, completely unedited from the start of the meeting to the finish of the meeting. No manipulating what people say. None of that. The whole purpose is so people that don't come to the meeting or feel intimidated not to come to the meeting, can look online and see it. When I was running for mayor, more than a dozen people told me that they wouldn't put a yard sign in their yard because they was afraid of retaliation. And that's why. And that it was pretty common. It wasn't like an outlier of it. So, and when I ran, that's when I ran. I'm a constitutionalist. And when I was running, they were saying, well, he'll take your guns away. He's a Democrat. I'm a constitutionalist. I believe that the Constitution is the law of the land and nothing should go against that.
Well, unfortunately, what we're learning with the Constitution is pretty sad. It's so subject to interpretation, especially by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and there's decision after decision that just keeps changing the way things are interpreted.
And things that we've accepted.
That's the biggest thing is the acceptance of it. Like me being out here, I didn't know if they was going to call the sheriff on me again, but they tried to get me arrested. They tried last time. When we had a police chief, they had the police chief escort me out
From this spot.
from the meeting. And here's the thing, because I ran on accountability, and one of the things I did keep checking on my Facebook page that I had set up to run for mayor, that I wanted the meetings recorded and open to the public so people that can't come or don't want to come for any reason can still watch it if they want to. I got 40.9% vote, somewhat close. But after that, I decided I'd come down, I'd record, and I'd upload that anyway. I was like, I don't have to be the mayor to seek the accountability. So that's what I did. I came down and recorded. And as soon as I recorded that first meeting, and they threw a fit about it then, the very next meeting I was working and couldn't attend, that's when they passed that emergency ordinance saying that you can't come. The very next meeting was passed specifically for me. And you can tell by the recordings that are up there, I sit down in the side over there and don't say anything. I'm not moving the camera around and stuff. I'm just recording. I'm not making a disturbance. I've got no desire for that. I just want to record. And last meeting when I was recording, I had a different camera on there. I had a DSLR camera on the tripod. And while the sheriff had me out here, somebody tampered with my camera, and the whole thing was froze up, and the footage was deleted. And that's a third-degree felony. Are they going to do anything about it? No, but it's a third-degree felony. Destruction of evidence. I've asked for the cameras inside for Freedom of Information request because you have a right to the recordings of their cameras inside. They informed me that they turn the audio off on all their cameras. It's also kind of wild that you feel the need to run out. But they haven't given me anything to undisputedly see who was tampering with the camera. The camera was so froze, even running off it, I had to eject the battery and get the camera to go off. Which usually that kind of thing happens when somebody tries to eject a memory card while it's in the middle of recording and it corrupts. And that causes the camera freeze. That's what I think happened. I didn't see it with my own eyes. I was out here talking to the deputy. That video is online though, the whole conversation with the deputy. me going back in and finishing recording the meeting afterward, the whole thing's on. I did mute a couple parts when I was giving the deputy my name, birthday, social, me wearing my license. So I was parked out here. Now I told him, and when he first got here, I said, "I don't have to do the information file, so I don't have to." And he said, "You're right, you absolutely don't have to give it," because he knew what was going on. And I did do it to him and ran it. Ran jumped up and back in. That's the only reason I didn't go into it. And if they do charge me with it, I'd have to fight that before I can do anything else legally about it. Because the way the law works, if you're charged with any crime in relation to your rights being violated, and you're found guilty, you have to overcome that guilt before you're allowed to pursue a civil case. It's better to not get charged for something, even though it's unconstitutional. I plan to be out here for future meetings, standing outside, with my rights being violated. Technically, if you look up the definition of coercion in the Ohio Revised Code, it specifically states that law enforcement officers are not allowed to threaten a citizen to prevent them from doing a lawful activity, and that's not felony. It's a criminal coercion and misdemeanor of second degree. So technically, the two sheriffs that showed up to the house, they committed coercion. And I got a camera in front of my garage. They pulled into the driveway. They see the camera. They turn around, walk out to the sidewalk, walk around to my side door around the other side of the house, and they look at my camera.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rights of the individual are really being eroded.
And that's the reason I don't want to be out here wearing a cardboard box. You know, it's not ideal. I walk down here. Cardboard's beating on my legs a bit. I wish I would have wore some pants. It's not comfortable. I mean, there's nothing nice about it. I'm sure I look ridiculous. But that's not, I'm doing it because I genuinely, constitutionalist, I don't want our rights being traded. And it usually says something about a government entity when they want to have secrecy over us.
Well, they're learning about our present federal government that you can just do anything.
Yeah, it seems that way, especially when, and it doesn't matter Democrat, Republican. When you get when the politician in charge only has judges put into office, they're going to be there for lifetime appointments that are going to follow what they want instead of following the Constitution. The first thing the judge, like they swear it up to the Constitution, that's all they should care about. They should look at every case on the merits. Does the law apply? Does the law not apply? Not, is this a partisan thing that I want to take up? That should never be a thing in the judicial system. It is. It should. That doesn't surprise me.
Good talk to you.
Thank you. You as well. That's the sheriff that was here last time that I talked to. That I think he knows the law, and it was two different ones I sent to the house. I thought he might be as well. He's stopping again. I go to pick my wife up from work because she got in an accident. The car's still not repaired yet. I moved the house about 12:30. I live right across from the freeway. At about 12:30 to 1, there's a sheriff sitting in the freeway parking lot right across the street for like the past 2 weeks. About the time I leave, they took over. I don't know for sure that it's related, but it didn't have to before the other. Yeah, well, I mean, I go out and pick her up. I'm out there a bit, so. Yeah, that I knew of. You're right, though. You guys have a wonderful evening. I really wish we'd get rid of these people down here. Stephanie and Zebulon. The Kerr residents. It would be nice. Hello. Somebody needs to fix that lock on that door. That retention spring. I told him about that last meeting.
Okay.
Look, they're closed now, but guess what? They're closed to the public regardless. At least if you want to be able to document it. All right, we'll go ahead and turn this off. Start heading home. This is our government and their lack of accountability. They don't want it. They don't want the accountability whatsoever. Get my phone in my pocket. Make sure my GoPro was recording the whole time. Got to put it down a little bit. Yep, 1 hour. Looks like it's successfully recorded. Turn it off. Actually, you know what? Just in case that sheriff comes, I'm going to turn the GoPro back on. Just in case. I don't know if he will. It is recording. I mean, it was off for just a moment. You heard the beeps. So it's back on. Let's go ahead and get her done.